recording this introduction of this very special episode all the way in La Palmilla, Mexico. The mission team has been working hard, and it has just been an amazing experience, and I'm excited for them to get to share all their testimonies when they get home. But this specific episode is a conversation that I got to have with Mia, who is a sweet friend that's known Hannah Potts most of their lives, as you'll hear, and just wanted to get her perspective of the church, our church, Christians, kind of that kind of stuff, since she's attended a few things at FUMC Collingswood in the past few months. Sadly, there were some technical issues with the recording, and so there's a couple of jumps. After she talks about young adults, it jumps into a conversation about people forcing their faith onto other people, I believe is the terminology used. And sadly, at the end, we also miss a great discussion of her sharing how she feels like people have, in the name of Christ, harassed and insulted people based off of the physical place that they are, and the assumptions based off of where that person is or how that person looks. And also sharing a little bit about her viewpoint of how she views the creator of the universe to be more of a female energy, because of creation, but also comforting and support and love. And so there were some things that sadly we'll miss hearing all of Mia's viewpoints in this episode, but I still think there's some fruitfulness to learn from how we can be a welcoming, loving congregation to those that come through our walls, but also the power of just reflecting Christ's love wherever we are, and to our neighbors and whoever we interact with, and how far a simple invitation can go. I hope you enjoyed as much as I had the honor and privilege to sit down with her. I don't know, I just wanted to sit down, get to know you a little bit more, even though but also like your honest and open perspective of the church, of Christians, and like churches in general, but also this church and your experiences here, and kind of growing up and more recently. And yeah, I want the people listening to be able to have an outside perspective, I think is really helpful and fruitful, and also just getting to know an amazing person like yourself.
Oh, thanks, sure.
Because not enough people know you, and that should change. So, and Hannah's also here.
Hi.
I would like to know kind of what's your history with church in general? Did you go to church as a kid?
We went to a Lutheran church in Audubon.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was Lutheran, and so we went to her church. My father was actually Methodist, but he went there like for her because that's where her family was.
Yeah.
Everybody was there. I went there all my life. I was baptized, had my first communion there, did all that jazz, Grew up there. I was a little altar girl. I lit the candles.
Oh, that's the thing in the Lutheran church. We don't have that here. But, okay,
I got to light all the candles and do all that fun stuff. My mother did like the thrift store on Saturdays, and so I would go with her at 8 a.m.
So the church had like a thrift store that helped
in the basement.
people in need. Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
so I would go there, and I would be the little cashier or whatever, just like help her out and just be babysat by her, basically. We were there until my mom passed when I was 10. We stayed for about like 2 more years, I think. But they definitely like kind of wanted us out. It was definitely like a feeling of like unwelcomeness. Like you would just like hear the old ladies like whispering or like talking about my dad or us, just like not kindly, I'll say, to put it that way. It just like wasn't welcoming, and like we changed our pastor, like the one who I grew up with. And so they brought in somebody new, and like things changed a lot, and so we kind of stopped going. And then I followed Hannah to her Presbyterian church for, what was it, like middle school, I think? Just until...
Yeah, middle school and high school.
Just like a little bit of high school. I tried to get my dad to go for a couple years. My brother stopped going altogether, but he did not want to go at all. He was not waking up that early. And then I just kind of stopped going.
So you started going to the Presbyterian church, and then like mid-high school stopped going, or like once everyone was out of high school, then
mid-high school, just kind of.
Because we still did the retreats and everything.
Yeah, we still did a few of those.
and then the fun stuff.
Yeah.
They changed youth pastors. And he was very unwelcoming of, like, anything, like, different, was very strict about everything. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna head out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that stuff. I feel like I would get yelled at a lot more, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, and no one wants to choose to show up to a place to be yelled at.
Exactly.
Surprisingly. I don't know why.
Crazy to assume.
So it seems like there was 2 instances where people were directly treating you poorly.
Oh, yeah.
Or you were expecting, because of who you were, that you would be treated poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's just very sad to me. And I don't know how you cope with, especially the stuff with your mom. How old were you when your mom passed?
10.
10 years old.
Mm-hmm. And she was, like, really involved with the church and, like, just, like, community in general.
So why would they speak poorly? Like, what was there in their minds
didn't
to speak poorly of?
My father is an alcoholic, and he definitely picked that up. But while he was still, like, doing that, he was still helping the church out.
Yeah.
Like, he's an electrician, and, like, he knows, like, some construction stuff. So he was
Yeah.
still there every Sunday, like, helping them out free of charge, like, doing all this stuff. But, like, because people would see him around town and talk poorly about him, and so it was just, like, he was, like, done. And also just because of the alcoholism, he just, like, wasn't getting up to go anymore as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, what were, like, some of the better memories you had at your church growing up and then at youth group with Hannah?
Mainly, like, the thrift store, like, with my mom.
Yeah.
Getting to do that, because it was a whole basement, like, multiple, like, giant, like, classroom, like, just, like, full of stuff. Like, people were there all the time. It was, like, 8 to 12, so, like, every Saturday. I don't know, I enjoyed, like, the Sunday school growing up. Like, I enjoyed the kids that I, like, hung out with. Like, our pastor, he had a son, Patrick, and a daughter. I don't remember her name. She was, like, a couple years younger than me. They were a lot of fun. Like, it was fun to go there and, like, hang out with kids. But then they moved. Like, he, like, went to a different church.
Yeah.
And so, like, a lot of the other, like, families left because of that. So it was a lot of, like, it was mainly, like, the old people who, like, stuck in there because that was their church. They weren't leaving. Yeah, basically everybody was kind of just dispersing at that point.
And then at youth group with Hannah, what were some of the better memories?
I don't know. It was just fun playing the games. We went on our retreats and stuff like that.
Where'd you guys used to go?
We went to Harvey Cedars.
Harvey Cedars. Yeah.
Remember when we used to throw the gingerbread man out the window?
Yeah. So there was a girls' dorm and, like, a boys' dorm, like, above, like, the mess hall and everything like that. And there was like a field, like, in the middle. And our friend Ian was in the boys' dorm, but we could see his window, so we were talking to him. And we had made, like, gingerbread cookies that day, and a bunch of them were fails. They were really bad. And so we were like throwing them out the window, and then we got yelled at.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so. But it wasn't even by an adult. It was by, like, another, like, young girl. She was like...
Another kid?
Yeah, she was like, we could hear you through the vents. Like, you guys were really loud, and you threw all that stuff. Like, you need to go clean that up. And we were like, we're going... It was, like, 8 a.m. Like, it was in the morning when we got yelled at.
Reprimanded.
Yeah.
Dutch Blitz.
Yeah, that's where we found Dutch Blitz.
Which,
Well, no. I found Dutch Blitz from my Aunt Sarah and Aunt Shannon when I was, like, 11 or 12, because they used to watch me when my dad had school.
Sorry, that's my best friend.
no, I know.
Almost 20 years.
How? When did you guys meet?
We were 4 at T-Ball.
I don't know, I was 4.
You were...
We moved in
Okay,
Florence.
yeah. She moved in, like, a block down.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. When was the first, the service that you and Charlie first visited us?
It was Maudie Thursday.
Monday, Thursday. I would say I used to come to God Squad here, so I did... I forgot
What age
that.
was God Squad?
It was elementary school, I think.
Elementary school? Okay,
Yeah.
so while you're at your first church, you also went to God Squad.
Yeah, because it was... I grew up a block down the street.
Yeah.
So it was just, like, right up the street, and the old youth pastor, Sean, his kids went to our elementary school, and so a bunch of the kids who went to our elementary school were going there. Yeah. My parents signed me up for that and stuff, so... And we would go on, like, trips and stuff like that.
What were your memories with God Squad? Because I've heard a lot about it working here, but was never told exactly what it was. Or what it looked like.
remember... It was basically, like, VBS.
I never did it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was, like, different, like, activities like throughout the summer.
Yeah, it was
Events and
basically
stuff.
that. Like, they would take us on, like, little trips and stuff sometimes. Like,
Okay.
we would have to get permission slips and obviously stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have, like, the gym that's downstairs. We would play games down there all the time. They were always playing the guitar and we were singing and stuff like that. We would do, like, arts and crafts. At one point, there was, like, a pool around here somewhere. We would occasionally... I don't remember whose house it was. I thought it was Sean's. It might...
I think there was
May
one at
have.
some point.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was there, and we would go swimming there. But that's all I really remember.
Overall positive memories.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
But I figured it was just like a camp at that
Yeah.
point, except I had to sing and dance with everybody, which was all right, I
At
guess.
some camps, you still got to do that.
Ooh.
So, did you ever go to camp as a kid? Oh no.
I went to grief camp twice. I hated it, but we ended up going to that camp in 7th grade. It's Camp Mason. It's in New Jersey, so it's like a YMCA camp. But my dad didn't know what to do with us, so he sent me and my brother to grief camp, and we would get like a buddy, and we would have to talk about our feelings and do activities in the woods, and it's just like
Get annoying.
so somebody forcing a friendship on you, but like a grown adult being like, "I'm your bestie this weekend." I hated that like condescending like tone to
I'm
it.
here, you're here.
Yeah, I think my mother never treated me like that, and I think that's why I hate it when others do it. Like my father and I have always spoken on like a equal level. Probably shouldn't have as like a child. Obviously, it has
Yeah.
probably like messed up my authority complex a little bit. But yeah, I don't like anything condescending or being talked down to.
And they didn't make you sing and dance at grief camp?
Oh, they did.
Oh, they did. See, I told you. It's just like camps.
So bad. I hated it. You know when they like force you to hold hands with the other kids? I was a bullied child. I knew to keep to myself.
My God.
That's why I forced myself on Hannah. I was at her house every day, knocking on the door.
So you joined us for our Monday, Thursday service, and I know it's been a while since then, but what do you remember from the service, if anything?
I honestly just came to see Hannah speak because I knew she was speaking,
Yeah.
and I wanted to see Mary and Timothy.
Yeah.
I said
No,
a
that's
verse. I said a verse. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh, you missed it. You should have come when she gave the testimony. When was that? Right after Passion, January.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just get Hannah on the stage more often.
Yeah,
You get
and
to
I'll
see
come
me
more often.
Absolutely. And so I've always appreciated how you come out and support not only Hannah, but even Timothy at the Impact concert.
Heck
That was
yeah.
really awesome. And he was just like, at the end.
I love Timothy.
And kept getting like lovingly pushed into his place where he was supposed to be. It was adorable. But it's his first time, and like the fact that like it was something he wanted to do. Anyway, do you remember anything else of the service whatsoever?
I've always found it hard to like keep attention in any service since I was a child. It doesn't
Fair,
matter
yeah.
how like intriguing it is. I cannot stay focused, and Hannah knows this because I bother her sometimes. I think I was more focused on Mary, if I'm going to be totally honest.
That's perfectly fine. Did anybody greet you when you came in or after the service from the congregation?
There were just the 2 ushers when I came in. I think Pastor Scott came up, or his wife.
Both of them.
They both came up. Yeah. I do not have a good memory.
No, you're
And
fine.
then after the service, I spoke with like you and like I feel like one other person.
I think you've been able to join us for young adults a couple occasions, 2 or 3
Yeah.
occasions. And what has that experience been like for you?
It's interesting. It's more or less just like curiosity. There's some things I hear where I'm like, all right, we'll go with that. But obviously, I'm a guest in this church, and I do not want to be a pariah off the bat for raising certain beliefs.
Yeah.
Because obviously, young adults is a place for like people to come and express their like beliefs and like concerns and like all that stuff like regarding their faith and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I feel as though I don't really have much of a faith, so I feel as though I'm just a nice little bystander to like peek in and just learn. So
Yeah, but you have beliefs even if you don't have the same shared beliefs as us.
no, I know.
And so you're always welcome to voice those things. and
It's always in like in
questions.
the middle of like an important thing.
Okay.
It's like a phrasing of words where I'm like, And
And like I see within the church is they're so
force-feeding.
horrible. Force feeding.
Yeah, the force feeding of it. It's just like, it's okay to share, but not to discriminate against other religions. And like, I understand that like the heart of, like, I'm assuming Christianity is to like share the word and to like to save everybody and do all that, but like you don't see that in other religions, and it's more of like, you're welcome to join us, but we won't force that upon you. Like, you have to seek the knowledge yourself. You have to want the knowledge yourself. Whereas, like, you see otherwise, it's more of, like, put on.
No, I don't even say my perspective. I really like Penn Jillette. I don't know if you Penn and Teller. I really like magic nerds. Anyway, he's like, if you don't try and convince me, like, if you don't, he uses the word proselytize, like, if you aren't actively trying to tell people about Jesus and, like, save them, I think you're a bad Christian. Because it's like, if you think I'm gonna burn in an eternal fire and you're just settled with doing nothing about it, why do you hate me that much?
Okay, I understand.
And so that's where, like, for me with other religions, like Jews, they kind of do it through marriage, oddly enough, is very much a thing of to, like, get someone to marry into the faith. And then with Buddhism, they don't really, like, believe that you have to follow that way to kind of ascend things, but it's not like there's no God. Buddha's just like a wise teacher that they follow his way of life. But then in Islam, like, if they believe that it's the religion of the world and that this is the only way to be with God, why do they want everyone else in the world to be in hell forever? Like, that's almost more disconcerting to me, of like you hate everyone else so much. Like, that's really the message that I get, if they truly believe that those are the things that are in balance. For me, it's like if you care, then you're going to do it, but you're going to do it out of love because you love them. It's not you're doing everything wrong, come to the right side.
Understand that aspect of it, of doing it out of love, but it's like so hard to see it so often when most of the time they're trying to like convince you to come over is telling you you're doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
So and that's where that
I think
comes
it's
from,
like
I think.
the pridefulness and the ego of like because I said I believe, I am now here and you're still here. We're acknowledging that, like,
it's like the
we're
savior
both
complex.
here. Yeah, we're both. I'm still a sinner. I still mess up. I'm still doing things wrong and regularly doing things wrong. But I'm at least striving to go in what I know and believe to be the right direction. And I want you to also go into that direction versus I'm at the top, you're at the bottom. I need to drag you up here. And I think that's kind of the mentality that like a lot of Christians have gotten into, is that I've made it, you haven't, come here. And then I don't have to work on any of my stuff. And like, that's not what we're called to do as Christians. We're supposed to constantly be working on ourselves in that relationship with God, and not out of duty, not out of chores of like if I feed this many homeless people and I give this much money to church and blah, blah, now I get the ticket to heaven and I'm there. It's I hope this question isn't too...
Yeah, shoot. I'm going to
bring stuff up. But like, what's an activity that you hate to do more than anything? Anything. What's
just
like
sweating in general, having to be out in the heat.
Okay, being out in the heat, right?
Yeah.
And sweating. Hypothetically, your mother is able to come back for one day, and she says, all I want to do with you is run on the beach.
Yeah.
That's it, and then I'm gone. And if you don't want to do that, then you won't get to see me for that day. Then we're running on that beach. Right?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
But that's like a given type of situation.
Yeah, no, and so it's not because you like the activity. It's not that you desire that activity, or it's like mom told me to do that, so I'm just gonna like do it because she said so. It's out of that relationship and out of that love. That's the reasoning behind doing the action. And so that's where, with following with what God wants for Christians, it should be out of that love and relationship, not I'm doing the checklist to get my ticket to go be with Daddy God, as some of the kids say. It's all just very complicated. It's all very complicated.
It's just...
Yes.
It's just so much... I don't know. I just see all the hatred. And I know it's probably just media and all that.